What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. You could check availability, get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. Man, I've been booking a lot of weddings. Oh, my goodings. Well, my goodings weddings. Wedding after wedding, and I'm so excited about that. I mean, I'm getting booked up, of course. 2022 just around the corner, man. Every Saturday and a lot of Sundays, I get to watch people at their best times with their families, and I get to be a part of that. Provide the entertainment. That's my lease in life, my lot in life, and I'm glad I still get to do it. I appreciate that so much. And the corporate events and the birthday parties, yeah, those are fun too. It's always good to do something a little different. You know, the 50th wedding anniversaries, those are fun as well. You know, the bar mitzvahs, the bat mitzvahs. Haven't done one of those in a while. Not since I was in South Florida, really. But, you know, DJ Little Rock, it lets you know I'm here in Arkansas. So if you're anywhere in the Arkansas area and you need some entertainment, call on me. All right, but if you're anywhere in what is it? Where is it? It's if you're anywhere in the Port Townsend, Washington area, you can call on Brian Douglas. Who's Brian Douglas? Oh, he's who I have on the show today. My loyal listener, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you'll know that Brian Douglas has been on before, and I get to have him back. Let's give a chit-chat to Brian Douglas. Oh, I do need to tell you about this week's shows. I have my one public show Friday night at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Very exciting. The Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. They got a full bar, kitchens open, pool tables. They got a pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try your hand at making money playing pool, I encourage you to check out the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, Friday night from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. You're the stars of the show. It's karaoke time. Oh, yeah, and dancing time, too. So bring your honey. All right, party people, let's get into it with Brian Douglas, the BCD Music Project. I got him on Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version, check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/keysdan. Yeah, pretty easy. All right, let's Skype Brian Douglas now. Brian Douglas, you're a winner, man. You're an audio engineer, amongst other things. You're a computer wizard.
Yeah, right.
well, my goodness, man. We're just catching up. It's been since, just a mere short few months ago, April 8th, to be more precise. We chatted a little bit. We got your life story from then to now, just a little bit of what happened from then to now. You've changed locations a little bit. The coloring is a little different behind you. You got a little amber glow for people that are watching the video version of this. It was a hot white glow. I mean, a hot white light last time we talked, and now you're in an amber glow. Everything's getting all cool and jazzy, just like you, Brian Douglas. Man, catch up.
It is almost bedtime.
Well, catch us up, man. Tell the people what you've been up to, man.
Well, thank you for asking. We still have, the last time we were talking, the pandemic was still going on, and it still is going on, but it was worse than it is now, I guess. And so nothing was happening. So I wrote another album, and I got it recorded and did the same process as I did with the last album, put it in various places, Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, yada, yada, yada. And so I just continued to do that. And then finally, things started breaking a little bit. And now I've been able to get out and go work playing live music.
No kidding. You're getting out on the streets, man. People in the streets. Listen to it. Ida-dee-da-day. Listen to it. Brian Douglas is out there, BCD Music Project. Now, yeah, I looked at your YouTube, and man, you've been picking up the pace a little bit. Because I noticed before there was only a few songs on there. Now it looks like you've been inspired by a few people. All the different songs have kind of a few of the different songs have a different name attributed to each one of them. Are they inspired by somebody?
Well, some of them are science fiction. I like science fiction, and so like Mind Continuum, for instance, is just a play on words with the time and space continuum. And I'm a Trekkie. I like Star Trek a lot, and so anyway, you start following that kind of stuff just a little bit. And a lot of my tunes are, are kind of, I don't know, they're kind of like that. I don't know how I come up with the name of the tunes, to be honest with you. They just come and I just put them down.
Well, I
guess there's a reason. I don't know.
Yeah, they're real spacey. Have you, I've been talking to a lot of these artists and they've been telling me about sync. Have you thought about putting your music into the movies, or refresh me? Have you gotten into this thing? I guess sync is the most popular way to get your music out there, but your stuff gets real ethereal if you're just chilling in your room. Maybe when you're cruising off to bed, some of that stuff, the guitars that are all echoey, you've added a lot of overlay on them. It's soothing, man. I can say a lot about it, but it's definitely soothing. It's something that you could listen to if you want to chill out. Is that the vibe you're going for?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like we talked about before, I've played pretty much everything, rock, blues, funk, big band. It goes on, but I've played a lot of really loud music. I was even in a metal band one time. I lost hearing, and I metal's all right. I'm not bad mouthing metal, but as far as playing it with that high pitched guitar, I lost hearing. And so anyway, you just get to a point. I'm 60. I just celebrated my 60th, and
happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I don't know, man. I just like that kind of music. I told my wife one day, I said, I think I like smooth jazz. She said, I never thought that I would ever hear you say such a thing. So, taste change, man.
It's true, man. I'm from South Florida, the Florida Keys, but I spent a lot of time on South Beach playing music for the masses. One time I was at the Homestead Miami Speedway, and I was playing music for 70,000 people that were there for the NASCAR Nextel race. And yeah, it was loud. There was cars racing by. I'm playing this, music that's kind of like jock jams versus heavy metal versus rock. And the roar of the crowd, the loudness of the people. But yeah, 52 years old. And now I kind of slowed down a little bit. I moved away from South Florida. Now I'm in Arkansas, playing my one club, the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, which is fun, a whole lot of fun, playing some karaoke. But I think I'm gonna play some of that Brian Douglas vibe this Friday night, and people are gonna go, man, this is like, chilling on a Friday night after working hard all week. I like to bring new stuff to the people, because that's my job. I don't play music like you do. I'm not as talented on the guitar as you are. My job is to press buttons and then inspire people with the music that you're playing, and they'll go, huh, who is that? That's pretty cool. I'll say, oh, that's Brian Douglas, BCD Music Project. That's my job, man. But you say that after all these years of playing all that music and losing all that hearing, and having headphones on, I know I've lost a couple of decibels here and there. I'm not even sure how hearing is measured really, but you've lost some hearing. You saying that the jazz is kind of a slow down, ease out?
Well, I think that you just go through your stages, man, and what you were playing for NASCAR, I mean, that's really appropriate. That's what it should be. You couldn't play my stuff in it. They'd be like, what the heck's this? So you got to go with it's the crowd, man. You got to play what they want. I just got to a point where I figured to make a living at it, gigging, that if you play, you just got to find a niche. Whatever that niche is, stick with it. And I tried to be able to get into as many places as I could to work as much as I could. It just happens that I really like playing that kind of music. And I really like writing music because, it's very jazz in some respects. The chords are jazz, the progressions are jazz, some of the melodies are jazz, and some of it's kind of like different jazz. It's not like old jazz, but it has jazz in it. And I'm not saying that it's strictly jazz. It's just like contemporary, instrumental, jazz-like music that I really enjoy playing. I like the chord structures and harmonies and being able to play solos over the top of those chords and melody lines over the top of those chords because they're kind of out of the box. But the key is not to have it too out of the box, because if it's too out of the box, people, then you lose, some of your audience. Like Alan Holdsworth, for instance, the godfather of fusion, played very out of the box, and he's one of my heroes, or one of the people that, not a hero, but influences, and so that's kind of like more where my mind is than standard. I like but I like to write. So let me rephrase it. It all boils down to this: if I can go play a gig and somebody says, "Hey, man, that was beautiful," then that's all I want. Okay. Then I'm good.
Well, you're evolving as a musician. You're changing. You're playing stuff that resonates with you, and I do that with my radio station. I have the radiowhat.com. I'm looking at it right here to my right, stage right. And I play music that I want to hear. And I figure if I like it, somebody else is going to like it. And I listen to it all day long while I'm, just chilling out. Sometimes I listen to podcasts. Sometimes I'll listen to my radio station because it's the music I want to hear. But it sounds like you're evolving as well. You've been the rock star. You still got the rock star hair. For the people that are listening to the audio version only, they should check out the video version. You still got the long hair. You didn't go the way of Eddie Van Halen, rest in peace, or I guess Lars Ulrich, where they had long hair way back when, and then they cut it all off, and became respectable. You still got that little bit of rebel in you. You do what you want.
I'm still, I'll tell you what, it boils down to this. If you went to go get your hair cut by somebody who's a professional, you have to go like every 3 weeks, a month at the most, for it to stay tight, right? So I don't really like I don't have the money to go do that all the time, and it's like, anyway, so you could get clippers and just buzz cut it. Right, exactly. See, so that's like low maintenance, and you can do that yourself. Maybe right.
Exactly what I did.
Or you can have it long like this, and just have your wife trim the bottom of it every once in a while, and it's all good, right? Low maintenance.
That's pretty cool. Back in 2001, I think I had my hair long past my shoulders back then, and my first daughter, she would braid it. I was still living in the islands down in the Florida Keys. I know it. You think of the islands, you think of like Bermuda and the Bahamas and stuff like that. But yeah, the Florida Keys are an island, and we have a little island life down there. But she would braid it and I would go walking down the street with my braided hair with little beads in it, because that's what my daughter did. That's what daddies do for their daughters. They let them do that kind of stuff. But have you ever braided it up? And I guess you put it in a ponytail from time to time. But do you ever do crazy things with it? You let your wife get to it?
I used to about 10 years ago. I like to double braid it every once in a while, like Willie Nelson. But that's about as radical as I get with it. I don't like it, like having to yank on, when you're braiding, and they yank and it pulls like one little teeny hair out of a spot and hurts your head. So I just usually wear a ponytail, but my wife's really cool, man. She braids it every night so that, and I'm not laying on it.
Yeah, when you have long hair, it's hair maintenance, man. I know I used to use regular rubber bands, and oh boy, does that tear your hair out. So you do have to get something more along the line of a scrunchie, something a little thinner with some cotton over the top. But do you have a washing regiment? I mean, this is a learning podcast primarily. I'm going to learn from you. If you got that long hair, do you wash it and do you use a conditioner? Is there a special product? You can give names if you want.
Hey man, I just use I like Pantene. Pantene's groovy, because it helps the comb go through your hair. So you got to wash it, use conditioner, and then I got to use spray-on conditioner while it's wet to get the comb through it. But that's pretty much it. I mean, once that's done, it's all good. You don't want to go on a motorcycle without it being braided.
Brian Douglas, I want to get you a sponsorship, man. I want Pantene to sponsor you, Brian Douglas. I can see you making commercials, playing a little guitar and saying, hey, this guitar riff brought to you by Pantene. See, at the very least, they should give you a couple of free bottles of the stuff. And, we'll put it out to the universe. Hopefully Brian Douglas gets a little merchandising, a little swag bag from the fine people at Pantene.
That'd be kind of funny, actually.
You should make like a fake commercial for your YouTube. That'd be kind of fun. You never know what's going to go viral out there. The kids all talk about viral. I wonder, some of these, what makes you famous podcasts. Some of them get a lot of hits, hundreds. Sometimes, I'll get 1,000 hits on the web, on the YouTube page. But then some, only get, a few, maybe 50 or so. And I wonder what is it that I could do to get myself out there. And I wonder what it is that you can do to get the BCD Music Project out there. I know chatting with me, and hopefully this resonates with people and people get to see the man behind the music. But I hope that you get some traction, because it really is good music, and it's a labor of love. I can tell by the way that you talk about it that it's music that resonates with you. And when you play it for your wife, what does she think about it?
She likes it. My wife's kind of afraid to say anything anymore, because it's like I'll ask her something and then she'll give her opinion, and it's like, well, but no, you're missing the point. Anyway, it is a labor of love. And so I just did this last album, and it's a little different than the first album. And, you're asking about how do you get traction? I'm trying to figure it out still. I really am. I mean, so I use, I don't know if you're allowed to say or not, but I use TuneCore. And TuneCore was very helpful they help you get your music on different venues so that your music is played all the time. And if you don't have a bunch of cash to hire people to do all your promotion stuff, you're doing it all yourself. Mm-hmm. See, so I'm like everybody else out there who's like me, an independent artist, just trying to, get somewhere. it's daunting because you're doing your social media posts and you're watching like what do you call those master class things and trying to figure out, well, and I listen to those things sometimes, and it's my goodness, I'm not doing enough, and then you start getting all stressed out because, oh, I'm not doing enough, and you're walking out with your hair on fire, and just a little bit at a time. I think, I think you have to be persistent, consistent, and just keep trying, keep going. I do know that my internet presence is bigger than it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, you could type in BCD Music Project on Google, and, the first couple pages of it is, stuff that, that I've done, because it's funny. You get a website out there and you start doing the social media thing, and then magically the internet elves out there, they all just kind of put it where it just in a row, and like this gig here, different people pick up different things and it gets placed on there, which is great because it's like having a resume, so I would really love to sell music on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to, but I also really enjoy playing live, and I think I'd enjoy that more than anything else. And the money, for an independent artist like I am, is better playing live than trying to barely make any money, doing streams and hopefully trying to get people to buy your stuff on the internet. Maybe I'm not aggressive enough. I don't know.
No, in the last 20 years, people stopped buying albums, CDs, tapes. But before, maybe even longer than, how long has the internet been out? It can't be more than really 20 years it's been around. I know AOL was out before that, and people were sharing music there. But, I guess Napster changed it all, with the way that they were sharing music. It was, I guess I got to put quotes out there. Really, it was a whole lot of stealing music because nobody was getting paid for it. So the artists such as yourself had to turn all their attention to playing live. That's the only way that they could make money, and selling merchandise. And I'm guessing that you sell. I haven't looked at your website lately, but I'm guessing that you have a little merch there or ways to buy your music. Well, at least there's places. Time Will Tell, Going Home. Song for Lori, all the music that you put out there is on your website. But I remember when I was first making my website back in the mid to late 90s, to get high on a search engine, and I guess it was Bing or Alltel, one of those websites. You had to put a few keywords in there, and you would get right up to the top. So say you were Brian Douglas playing music. Where are you living now, Brian?
I'm in Port Townsend, Washington.
Okay, so you say musician, Port Townsend, Washington. Put that in your keywords. And anytime somebody's looking for a musician in Port Townsend, Washington, Brian Douglas, BCD Music Project shows up. But now, who knows what the algorithms are on Google and how to get in there? Because, Keys Dan, I'm primarily a one-man show, and I'm guessing Brian Douglas, you're pretty much a one-man show as well, trying to get your name out there. Do you have other people that at least repost for you or are helping you out a little bit?
I find that, believe it or not, I find that Twitter has the best results of anything. And because there's so many people that look at that, Facebook is kind of strange in regards that I'm kind of leery of accepting a lot of friend requests from people or looking for friend requests because of the people always trying to scam you, people creating fake accounts and doing this and doing that and getting your information. Blah. It seems like it's more of a personal type thing. Whereas Twitter, I've got I have I don't know, some like 1,400 followers maybe. I follow like 1,600, and it's just like a little tiny bit at a time, and but there's so many people out there on Twitter, and everything moves so fast. People aren't typing in these big, huge, giant, long 10-paragraph things about themselves. You can't do that. So everything moves so quick. And what I found is that when you listen to other people's stuff and you comment on it, and you give them an attaboy or something like that now and then because they deserve it, it helps you in what you're trying to do to pick up steam as well. It seems like people are more willing to help each other. Musicians are more willing to help each other on Twitter than they are on Facebook.
Yeah,
I think. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You think what?
Well, I just think on Facebook, it's more about people getting their 5 seconds of fame posting their lunch. I think that's what they're more concerned about.
I'll have to agree with you. And as I'm talking to you, I went ahead and I went to your Twitter page, and it's Brian_project on Twitter, and I retweeted like the top 5 things that you had there, and that's a very simple thing to do, and it might get you 1 or 2 more viewers. If I retweet it and you tell 2 friends and they tell 2 friends, just like the old Pantene commercial. Whoa, you see what I did? I made a callback. That's comedy right there. And so on and so on. Yeah.
That's right.
So there, Pantene, sponsor Brian
thanks
Douglas.
For doing that. But, I try to do that because, everybody who's doing what I'm doing, we're all in the same boat. So I'm just trying to, help people out, and hopefully it just, washes out, and it does. It usually comes out in the wash. People follow you, you follow them. And I found some really great entertainment and music, it's, and I follow everybody, like rap people and people do my kind of music, rock people, blues people. It doesn't matter, because the way I see it, there's 2 kinds of music. There's good music and there's bad music.
Hank Williams Sr., I believe he said that. Hank Williams Sr. is attributed to saying something like that, because it used to be there was no genres. It was just music.
Right.
But go ahead.
Well, and it's just good or bad, it's like, well, how was it written? Was it executed well? Did you not make a bunch of mistakes and da-da-da-da-da? And so, but then, art's subjective, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
And that's the scary thing. So like when I write my stuff, I mean, the first album I did, I think it was a little more hurried than this last one. This last one, I really, really took my time. And, the first album, I kind of mastered it. I mastered it through mixing. This last time, I actually mastered it myself with the mastering software that came with Cubase. So that was an experience, because I was thinking, oh man, I've never mastered anything. How's this going to work? And it was so daunting. But then when I did it, it was like, oh, hey, this isn't that bad, So I really, 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 really tried to make it as best as I possibly could. It was a learning process. I'm glad I went through the process. I'm kind of learning how to be somewhat of an engineer. My hat's off to professional engineers, because you people are badasses, and your ears get ear blind after a while. You've been working on one song for like 4. It's only 2 guitars, right? It's not like I'm doing a whole band or nothing. And so you're 4 hours into it, and you're trying to do this, and this is sounding like garbage, and then your hair's on fire. Heck with it, turn it off, and then go back. And then you go back the next day, and it's like, oh, hey man, that's pretty good. I just needed to move this knob like 1 millisecond, and it's fixed. So it was interesting, man, to actually to try to do something like that. It's a huge learning curve, but I'm glad that I did it. And now I'm starting my next one. Song for Lori, by the way, that was written for my sister.
Okay. All right. Well, what inspired you about the sister?
Well, she passed away.
Right.
So
Sorry.
it was weird, man. She had ulcers. They said it was ulcers. They kept getting worse. So then they said, "Oh, we need to operate now." And then I won't go into the gory details, but she went into the hospital about a month later. She was gone. She was in hospice. So I wrote that for her to kind of play her out, if you will. I wanted her to hear it before she left, and she was able to. It wasn't that mix. I recorded it. I did a rough mix on it, made an MP3 of it, sent it to my mom's telephone, and she was able to play it before she left. So then I went ahead and included it on the album because I like it. It's a groovy song. It's one of my favorite ones I've done.
That's your superpower, Brian Douglas, man. And I'm sorry that she passed, but that's how you keep her memory alive forever and ever. You know, that's a superpower that a musician has. You're taking that inspiration. Such a sad story that, a family member, especially your sister, passed away, and then you turned it into music, inspiration, man. And then she's living forever. She's immortal. She's immortal because of you, Brian Douglas. You're a superhero. It's amazing to me.
I'm just glad that I'm able to do those types of things.
Yeah.
Because we're having a conversation here, and you can have a conversation with whoever, but the groovy thing about music is you can express yourself in a completely unique and different way than you can verbally. And because I believe that music comes from the spirit, everybody has different spirits. And so it's interesting how those collaborate to, that every once in a great while, you run into somebody that you just really click with, and it's so easy, and you can just create just easily. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just a wonderful gift to be able to do that. I'm grateful.
Brian Douglas, music is universal, and I know it's been said before, but it makes friends out of enemies. There's people that have hated each other, and you play a song and you go, "Oh, you like Leonard Skinner? Well, I like Leonard Skinner. Oh, you like the Brian Douglas BCD Music Project? Hey, I like that too. It's amazing. I just recently heard a podcast with Molly Ringwald, and supposedly she hated John Cryer, but they were both into this band called the Rave Ups way back when. And as soon as John Hughes, the guy who produced Pretty in Pink, the one that they starred together in, took them to a record store, and they're thumbing through the records, and they both come across a record of the Rave Ups, and that brought them together. These are people that did not necessarily like each other, but through music, through an album, and listening to that song together, listening to their songs together, they can go, huh, we found common ground. I think that's how the politics can be solved is having people come together and just go to a concert together, man. Whenever I go to a show, I don't know if those people are Democrats or Republicans, liberals or conservatives. They're all just vibing. And I think Brian Douglas, that's another superpower, is you can get those people to vibe at your show. Tell me about the shows that you've been doing.
Well, I am, I'm not a music star or anything like that. So I've been playing some cool gigs though I play locally mostly. I play like wineries and breweries, and see, what else did I do? I played some cruise ships. I do a lot of those types of gigs. Like I'm playing at a cidery on Saturday. The one thing that I do, and it helps in a couple ways. It helps my income because, you make pretty decent money doing it. But I play at assisted living places and memory care places, and I really like doing it. there's three places right now that I play all the time. I know the people's names. I talk with them, show them some respect and dignity. Just hang with them, and play some chill music. And I get paid pretty good for doing it. But I'm just sound funny, but trying to do God's work at the same time. And doing it earnestly because I really enjoy doing it. I like hanging with them. They're interesting. There's a guy I've met. His name is Henry. He's 101 years old, and apparently he's some big time artist. He's got his stuff hanging in. I don't know where it is, but it's some big time museumy place. And I've met people who live in those places that have lived like these full lives, and some were musicians and some weren't. I have like musicians come up to me all the time. Hey man, da 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 da, and they want to start talking with you, and people go through their things. Guy lost his wife, so you talk with them about that, and so anyway. I do those places and I play pretty much wherever I can. I'm not in a band right now, so I'm not, I was playing, larger venues.
Well, that just means you're more mobile, and that's fantastic, man. You can grab your guitar and go, and just
right.
entertain the people, just you on your own. You don't have to join up with a bunch of other dudes. And I can't make it. Give me a couple of hours, give me a minute, give me a few minutes. I can't do it today. Got to do it tomorrow. No, it's just you. Now you're vibing with the people at the ALS, the assisted living facility, the ALF. I used to do a Thursday karaoke show for some folks here at Southridge Village here in Conway, Arkansas. And man, let me tell you, I resonate with what you just said about vibing with the people. They would grab their microphone and they would sing, a Sammy Davis Jr. song or some old classic, something out of the American songbook. And just, man, some of them can sing. And that way back when they were really something. And you know what? Right now, they're still something. And I loved it. You would hear some stories. Sometimes they would grab the mic and their hands would shake a little bit because they're nervous, or maybe they were ailing a little bit with some Parkinson. Either way, but we had a lot of fun, man. The Thursday afternoon, just vibing with some older folks, man. That's what once we get to a certain age, and we start to think about our mortality. And you brought in faith and maybe getting closer to God. With playing music for some folks that have lived a life and maybe are heading down that road to the train station and maybe about to get on that train and head on to their just reward, however you want to put it. But tell me, do you think about your mortality as time progresses?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, everybody does. I'm Christian in my faith, and that is the one thing that, besides music, that keeps my sanity. I mean, I have hope, and in a world that right now, you were talking about politics. I've just gotten to a point where give to Caesar what is Caesar and give to God what is God's. And, people who want to fight over the world, keep it. I don't want it. I'm looking forward. I'm looking ahead. And for right now, the music that I'm writing, I believe is, certainly spiritual music. It comes from the Spirit. I'd like to have the beauty of God come out through my music, not to be too preachy, but it's just I try to really live my life like that. I'm just trying to just tune out the garbage, put the garbage aside, because like I said, I just turned 60. I'm certainly not afraid to die, but I'd like to make I'd like to leave it a little bit better place if I weren't here.
Yeah.
So, and it's like with the older people, I'm not that much younger, at 60 years old, right? Some of them are like 75, 80, maybe 100, but they're all relatable too. And what's really interesting is the people that live in those places, like it used to be, people were listening to Frank Sinatra and, Glenn Miller and all that kind of stuff. Those people are dying, right? Now the people that are in there, they used to listen to the Grateful Dead and Carole King and, it's changing. It's all changing.
People that are in the assisted living facility are graduated in the 50s and maybe even the early 60s. That's the median that I was with when I was there. I don't know, a few years ago. But you quoted one of my favorite Bible verses, Matthew 22:15-22, is give back to Caesar what is Caesar's. I've used that one so many times. I'm not a guy that buries my head in the sand. I realize that there's things going on out there, and I'll listen to my little 1 minute news brief, just something a little bite size. But I'm not a guy that could sit in front of either Fox or CNN and just watch all day long. It's just, and they're just beating you down with whatever's gonna cause you to keep listening. The same thing with Facebook you're talking about, is they'll send you little news feeds, whatever is gonna make you engage and keep you listening is what they're going to put it in front of your face. So if they know that you're a Democrat, they're definitely going to put Donald Trump did this in front of you. And if they know you're a Republican, they're going to say, "Oh, Biden is the worst," and they'll try to get you to engage that way. Something, because they know what they're doing out there on social media. So it's hard. It's hard to sift through, man. And it's good to have your faith, man. You keep that going. Keep your lady. Keep your God and keep your lady with you, and that's fantastic. Do we talk about? Did you have kids? Do you have any offspring of your own?
I do from a previous marriage. My wife and I now, we don't have any children, but I have a daughter. She's 38, and I got 3 grandkids. There's 3 girls, and they're all like crazy. It's pretty fun, and I don't get to California much, so I don't get to see them, but I get to talk with them and do video chat and that kind of thing. So that's nice. But, so back to like that whole politics thing, it's like, I just don't even pay attention to it on social media. So like I use my social media for music promotion and finding out what other people are doing in music. All the rest of the stuff that's been happening it's noise, and that's what I mean. People who want to rule the world, keep it. I don't want it, and I'm not partaking in the conversation. I mean, I have my opinions, sure. But the Bible says something else. Don't get involved in a bunch of useless conversation that makes people mad.
I think right? I might do that almost every day. Sometimes I'll shout it into a microphone and people will go, "What did he just say?" But that's my lot in life. I've been speaking into mics since 1986, professionally. The first time I got on the radio was in 1986, and I started talking to people. Mostly, I was talking. I was in a dark room, a dark padded room, listening to music. There was music in my head, and I was talking to people that weren't there. I was either in an insane asylum or I was on the radio. One of those two. I can't remember, because really that description kind of described it both. But no, man, I appreciate what's going on in the world, and sometimes people will try to get me engaged in a conversation that's just going nowhere. And you're right about that. But I do realize, okay, I know who the president is. He's Joe Biden, and maybe he's a few years past his prime, and maybe 12 years ago he could have been an even better president. And then Donald Trump, he had But anyway, he had his agenda as well, and some people, liked his agenda, and some people did not. That's just the top. All I can do is worry about my own front door. There was I can't remember who the saying was, and I'm going to paraphrase. If everyone swept their own front porch, the whole world would be clean.
That's true. But I don't have the energy anymore to get engaged in conversation that just goes nowhere, and it's kind of sad because with, COVID and this and that, it seems that like people who you don't know, and I'm a very social person, but people that you don't know, you can say something and just like, it'll set them off. And so it's kind of weird because some days you almost you don't know what to say to somebody. So it's just better to just keep your mouth quiet, So I've found that I don't talk as much we're talking now because we're on this show, but sure. I don't wear my heart on my sleeve as much as I used to because somebody will chop it off.
I mean, some people think, I try to think of myself as even-handed, where I try to see both sides, and some
Sure.
people just don't like that. Some people would label me as a people pleaser if I was trying to do that. Okay, yeah, he wants to build a wall, but why? Why does he want to build a wall? Because some people like that idea. I don't. But I don't see why. People can just fly over that thing or dig under it. There is there reasoning for it. I don't want to build a wall. I want to build bridges, man. I want to, have people meet each other halfway and enjoy each other's company. But so what I'm understanding, Brian Douglas, is you're not running for mayor of Port Townsend, Washington?
No, I'm not running for mayor. And, because of all that stuff that you're talking about, that's why I play music.
Yes.
And see, I have a little bit different outlook on things because I don't know. I try not to look at things so geographically. Now, I don't travel a lot.
Nah.
I don't like traveling. I would like to, if I was in Star Trek, I'd like to, like transport to another country, and just beep, you're there, and not go through any of the hassle to get there. I don't travel well, but because of being a musician, I listen, to music from Turkey and Istanbul and Israel and Africa and Cuba and Nigeria and Spain and wherever that is such a commonality. Now some people might not like that kind of music. I do. I think that you can take all that stuff from all around the world, and when you're composing, you can put whatever you want wherever it seems to fit in what you're writing, and it's just like having tools in your toolbox. If you know how to do that, if you've listened to it, some people say, oh, this band's the best band in the whole world. Well, I don't know, what about a huge orchestra, some Philharmonic? They say that like all these Marshall stacks have all this power. It's like, oh yeah, we'll go watch a Wagner concert.
You know what I mean? Right. I know
you got the basses, bowing across at the very beginning of it, and it builds and it builds and it builds. Some people don't appreciate that. I do, because I think it's bitching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I like I said, there's good music and there's bad music. If it's done well, I'll give it a shot. I'll listen to it. And, some people might not like maybe one particular thing. Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett just did, this last concert, right? The guy's like Glenn Campbell used to be, couldn't even remember his own name. But boy, you put a guitar on him and you put him out in front of a microphone, he's tearing his stuff up, right? And it's the same thing with Tony Bennett. And I like Tony Bennett. I like Hank Williams. I like Hank Williams Jr. I like that cat we were just talking about, and my brain just died. See, I should be in a.
No, No, but
Yeah, Frank Sinatra.
you're
I
talking
dig
about,
Frank Sinatra.
you're talking about
So
music.
it's
Yeah.
like there's all this music and there's all this great stuff. I think you just have to be willing and not worry about other people thinking, just give it a shot and listen to it. And all these people that create this stuff. See, so I guess I look at people differently. It doesn't matter if they're born here. It doesn't matter to me where they're born. Um, I'm willing to listen to what they have. If they're musicians, I'm certainly willing to listen to what they have to say. I think there's more commonalities between everybody than there's not.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
that's
talking
just
about music
basically it.
all over the world that resonates with you, and people, man, when you were talking about music from all over the world, I remember the hip hop artists of the late '70s and early '80s were sampling music from all over the world, all kinds of different music, and then singing their hip hop lyrics, singing their rap lyrics over the top of it. And people were getting mad that their albums were getting sampled, but you're talking about getting inspired by music from all over the world. I remember African and Latin beats that were found in a song from, a rap artist in New York, or some, Asian type music that was in a rap artist from the West Coast. And people were getting inspired by music all over the world. And I know that there's a local radio station here, public radio. It's like it's not NPR, but it's like like kind of like a jack station, where every DJ goes in there and has their time, and they play their own little show. And every once in a while you'll hear, this will be the classical hour, and that'll be the Afro Latin hour. And then you'll play some Native American music. And sometimes I'll listen to that on a Saturday all day long, and you'll get all different flavors, and I'll get inspired, man. But I imagine somebody like you, who not only can get inspired, but also can pick up a guitar and say, ooh, that's kind of funky. What if I twisted it this way? You can actually put that down and make it into a BCD music project.
Yeah, that's right. Miles Davis on his last album, I think it was his last album, I'm sure it was, Doo-Bop. And I can't remember the guys. There was two different guys who rapped on his album, and it was bitching. It was really, really good. You should check that album out sometime, called Doo-Bop. And so I don't have an issue with rap. I like rap. I think rap serves its purpose. I think that there's people, especially in cities and stuff, who have no other way to express themselves than doing what they're doing. It shouldn't be dogged. It should be lifted up. It's like, this is really, really cool. And I've heard some really, really good rap lyrics. And you remember Busta Rhymes. He was really cool. And like the old school guys, who was that guy, the Humpty Hump? Remember
Dude,
those guys?
He just passed away. He just passed away a couple of years ago. The Humpty Hump.
Yeah, but what was that? It was Public Enemy. Is that who that was?
Public Enemy. That was a different one. But
okay, who was it? Who was the guy that did the? Anyway, there was some just cool old stuff. Old Run DMC, and then it started mixing. Aerosmith was kind of like going by the wayside, and so then Run DMC, they use I can't remember that song. They morphed it all together. Yeah, that's anyway. It picked Aerosmith back up. It gave some notoriety to Run DMC. Man, just like it's all good.
It is, man. But you were talking about Shock G. Was the guy who his alter ego was the Humpty Dance. And in fact, he had two different personas, and he rapped two different styles. When he was Humpty, he rapped more nasally, and when he was Shock G, he kind of rapped a little more cool, with a little deeper voice. It's exploring your persona. It's the different styles that even you, Brian Douglas, have been through, from heavy metal to pop to rock to country to now you're into jazz, man. I guess the B movie. I remember Jerry Seinfeld saying, "You like jazz? Well, Brian Douglas, you like jazz, man. That's your new forte now. That's where you're at now. And you'll be playing for the Vineyards. You know, my brother, we're both born in Miami, Florida, and we got a little farther away. I went to Arkansas, but he's in Walla Walla, Washington. How close is that to you?
That's not that far away.
I'm gonna have to get him to come to a show, man, and at least represent with the blood, with my blood over at a Brian Douglas BCD Music Project. Is there a regular gig that you're at every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or is finding you on?
Oh man, it's always scrounging. See, that's another thing about being a musician, right? You're always looking for a job. There's not a lot of places around here locally that have the same people over and over again. There's a couple places, and they're even kind of going by the wayside. Like, I know one cat who was playing at this one place, and the owner sold it, and it's a martini bar. It's a cool place. It's nice. And from what I understand, they're going to sell steaks and milkshakes. So, I don't know what's going to, happen with that. So no, it's always scrounging. You're always trying to find the next gig. Always, 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 always. And so, no, I'm not playing at any place all the time.
Man, that's so sad that it's a hustle.
Except for my little old lady friends. I play for them all the time.
Okay. Is there a special day that you're there? That I know that's not a public show.
It's either Mondays, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays usually.
Even that's not a steady gig. Come on, man. There's got to be something. I'm very appreciative that the Rab has me out every Friday night. I'm very happy that they've had me there on and off for the past 10 years. I'm very excited about that they put up with me. I know as good as I think I am, or as good as people say I am, it's still the same old show. It's still me. But with Brian Douglas, you're going to get a mix of all different kinds of music in one. Oh, you want me to play jazz for you in the corner over there and provide a little ambiance? No problem. You want me to play a little pop? You want me to play a little country, a little blues riff? Something. You got it in your pocket. You got all those tools in your tool belt. Are you doing vocals yet?
I have done vocals, in rock bands. I'm a one-trick pony vocally. I can sing blues, I can sing rock, I can sing funk. I'm in key. It has to be in my range. My range isn't very, I don't have a huge range, maybe a couple octaves, or an octave. I don't know. It's not much.
You're not Mariah Carey. I get it. You're no Tony Bennett.
Yeah, no, it's, I'm not like Tony Bennett.
No, Lady Gaga was talking about him recently when they did that record, and she was saying that as old as he is, and as seasoned as he is, he's spot on. He still got it, and that record was amazing. It really was.
Do you know who held whose vocals got better and better as they got older?
Frank.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy. He's the way he talks is kind of like exactly what I'm doing. I'm stuttering, but as soon as he starts singing, kind of like Mel Tillis. Mel would stutter to no end, but as soon as he started singing, it's like a bird. It's so amazing what music can do. It can transform people. Even the artists themselves that are doing it can be transformed by the music. If you're having a bad day, I'm sure you pick up that guitar, bam, it's automatically, not a great day, but a better day. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And especially if you're recording something cool. Oh, man.
Well, the recording things, I'm so anal when it comes to recording. So all the rhythms, you've heard my music, is just basically two guitars. And so all the rhythms that are on my album were all originally recorded onto a looping pedal. And the looping pedal that I have, you can hit the buttons and make it go up and down. So you can put the rhythm on, the rhythm track, you can manipulate how many times you want this section, yada, yada, yada. So I don't have to record it twice. So, but then I have done my melody tracks. Now, let's say I have a 5.5 minute long song, and I do have a couple of those.
Sure.
all the melodies and solos on those tracks are one take. I mean, they're played all the way through. I don't cut and paste. Everything is all organic. It's what it is what it is. So there has been songs that I've done 197 takes.
Okay.
So like you'll start it, and it's like, oh darn it, oops, and then you stop it, and then sometimes you get to the very very end, and then you screw up the last note, and it's like, oh, oops. And so I've actually done it, like I think it's like 100 times. It's like the as many times as I've done it, but I'm so anal, it has to be absolutely perfect. So it's painstaking. I think writing and creating is the most fun. Recording is tedious, but it's fun. Mixing is tedious. It's not fun, but once you get it all done, it's all good, right?
No, you're talking about these one takes, and what came to mind was I remember Taylor Swift and OK Go. That's another band. They've had music videos that have been one take all the way through. Of course, it's not the first take. It might have been take 32 or take 152, but it was one
Sure.
take. It was one
That's right.
long camera all the way through. But to do that with music, wait a minute. What you're leading me to believe is you have this pedal that loops. You could do that live where you can play yourself a melody and then play over that melody while you're out there live?
Actually, yeah, I did it on purpose that way, and that's why I don't add bass and drums and all the other stuff to my stuff on my CDs, because what I play on the CD is what I can replicate live. So let's say you have a jazz piece that has 3 sections, an A, B, C section. So you could take the A section, put it in 1, B2, C3, right? And then you can put little endings in there. You could like put fades in there, this and that or the other. So let's say the A goes twice, and then you got the B section, and then you go back to the A twice, B section, C section, da 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 da. So you just click the up and down button. So I don't record the whole section on there. I might just record a piece of section, or I might record a whole section, and then I can go back and forth so that you have forward movement. So I can go from A to B to C, and then back to A, and then the song's out. So I can do everything that I play on the album, I can do live. And that was the point.
Yeah, because I was thinking about there's a comedian named Dimitri Martin that does this overdub, and oh my goodness, who's the other one that does that? That's famously does that. But it's amazing to me when you're sitting up on stage and you'll play yourself a little riff, and then you could loop it and loop it and loop it, and yeah, you are a one-man show. Brian Douglas, man.
Well,
Go.
there's something to that. Now, that's one way of doing it. I don't do it like that.
Okay.
I don't stack, right? So what happens is like now I'm not saying it's bad, but what happens is if you do what you were just talking about, there's no real forward movement anywhere unless you play an entire song and all the way through, but then there's still no forward movement after that. So what I'm able to do is what I'm doing is I have forward movement. I can play different sections. So I can play the first section, second section, third section, if that's the way it goes, or I can go from 1 to 2, back to 1, then to 3, and then back to 1. However that song is written, and all my stuff is written. It's not like a jam thing. Everything is all on paper and written out, and that's what it is.
Okay. All right, I'm thinking of Reggie Watts, where he brings up his overdubber and just amazes. He'll do a little vocal, ooh, 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 kind of like
Right.
Bobby McFerrin used to do, and then overdub over that. I mean, these are things you could do with technology. Brian Douglas, you amaze me. You amaze me to no end that you can make this intricate music that you have on your YouTube page using 2 guitars. Using. And it's you, and you lay it over yourself, and you make harmonies, you make melodies, you change people's attitudes. People, it takes a lot to get somebody out of their house to come to a show, and I think Brian Douglas, you provide, and you care enough to provide that good show for the people, especially the moms and dads that had to hire a babysitter to come out and watch a Brian Douglas BCD Music Project show. I appreciate that so much, man. Hey, let's wind this thing down, man. Any shout outs you got to give to some people? Any place you want people to find you, or any collaborations, or any anything you want to do, any avenues you want to explore as Brian Douglas, the BCD Music Project man?
Well, I guess, I could just say that if you want to find me, just find me on my website, www.bcdmusicproject.com. You can listen to my music for free on the music page. I do that freely. What I'm hoping is that people who appreciate the music would want to buy it. I sell it digitally on iTunes. You can click the iTunes button on the left-hand side of my website, and just go through the process. It's real easy. You can buy the first album, second album. They're both up there. And I also post my shows on show dates on there. So if you are ever in the Port Townsend area and you would kind of like to come by and say hello, please do, to listen to the music, but also just to say hi. I really enjoy meeting people and talking with them and hanging. So if you're in Port Townsend, and you see one of my shows on there, check me out.
Brian Douglas, always a pleasure to talk to you, man. And I could tell you really do want to have some interaction with your people, because once you put that music out there, most creators are very sensitive. Most musicians are very sensitive. You're putting this, you're creating something out of nothing, and putting it out to the world, and you're saying, do you like this? Do you like this thing? Can I get some recognition that you like this thing? Please don't hate it. Please don't hate it. I can imagine. You got to have the feelings out there. You got your feels. But
it was a lot like that at the very beginning, wondering, because you're, like you said, you're creating something. Oh gosh, are they going to like it, or da 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 da? And what's nice is once when people continue to give you positive reinforcement, and that helps. So at least that when they, you're on the right track when they say that they like it, or when they come back and they want to see you play. And all the old ladies love it when I come back.
That's a perfect place to stop, man.
There you go.
Every year I think, am I too old for this? And they keep asking me back for it. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Brian Douglas. All right, man.
I appreciate you as well. And thank you so much for having me on your podcast. And what you were saying is, like, I have in my pocket what I'm able to do. I can play this or this or this or this. Really, you're in the same boat, because you interview so many different people at so many different places where they come from, and genres, and this and that and the other, that you're actually by allowing or having them on your show, you're doing the same exact thing I am. So there's people who do what I do, there's people that do what you do, and it's very, very nice to have people like you to help us do what we do. It's kind of like a symbiotic relationship, right?
Oh, purely selfish, man. I'm sucking the thoughts out of you. I'm learning from you. But all right, let's go ahead and give it the last words for the people. Brian Douglas, could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, a mantra that you go by, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Brian Douglas, BCD Music Project. Last words for the people.
Hey man, no matter how bad things seem, it's gonna get better.
Oh my goodness, what a nice guy, Brian Douglas, man. He's got a heart and soul that you can feel. It comes through in the audio, and especially on the video. You can tell that the man loves what he's doing. He feels it. And if you listen to that music, you listen to on his YouTube page, on his website at Brian Douglas Music. Let's see. Let me make sure I get it right. bcdmusicproject.com. He's got all his music out there. He's laying it all out there for you. He's put all this out there for you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. You go over to his website. Check it out. And if you have the means, you have a little extra scratch in your pocket, little cash, little Deutschmarks in your pocket, couple extra pesos, some yen. Recently I just figured out that South Korea is woo. You got won. You got some won in your pocket. Well, pass a little won his way, man. Buy some songs. Show that man some appreciation. Brian Douglas is doing it for you. He's putting out that good music. Now lately it's been jazz music with guitars that are all echoing on top of each other and just just beautifully overdubbed. And I can't believe he's doing it all himself. Something that quality usually takes a team, but I guess the man's got skills. He's got a team within himself. But help the man out. If you see some stuff out there, share it on your Facebook page, your Twitter, your Instagram. Share it and make sure that people know that it was Brian Douglas's music, BCD Music Project. I appreciate you so much for being on the program, Brian Douglas. Always good to chat with you, man. You got knowledge, and yes, I looked it up. You were talking about Miles Davis, his last record, and yeah, it was June 30th, 1992. Doo Bop, very cool, man, very cool. And he had Easy Mo B that helped him out, and Donald Hepburn and Larry Mizell. So yeah, the man, he knows his music. He knows his Miles Davis. I mean, that man was instrumental in jazz and music in general. You talk about history and inspiration. You can get inspired by music everywhere. And some people go, "Oh, I don't like that type of music," or "I don't like that type of music." Well, that type of music, there might be one particular artist or one particular song that didn't resonate with you. Give the whole album a try. Listen to the whole album. I know, and I'm going to show my age. I know when I had an 8-track tape that didn't have a fast forward. Oh, I got fancy when I had a fast forward on my 8-track tape. But when you put an 8-track tape into your 8-track player, you had to listen to the whole album to get back to that first song. Unless you got fancy and it had a fast forward on it, but that usually ate the tape. So don't fast forward. Listen to that whole album. Listen to every track. Listen to everything that musician has to offer before you make judgment. So, yeah. Brian Douglas, I appreciate you so much. BCD Music Project is where you got to go. BCDmusicproject.com and find out where he's going to be. So if you're anywhere in that Washington area, get over to a show and show him some love. Show him some appreciation. Oh, I got the feels on that one. That's a rare and beautiful thing. All right, now if you, my loyal listener, would like to be on the What Makes You Famous podcast and tell your story, or at least part of your story, spend an hour with me or so. And you can give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. It's Keys Dan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.